Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 5 of the Monday Q&As. Finally, let's get this thing done. First question. I'm currently doing the Wendler program, but I am not isolating hamstrings or squats and deadlifts enough to hit the hamstrings. I don't know, depends on the person. I've seen plenty of people who get massive hamstrings doing nothing but squats and deadlifts. When you guys see my training videos, I'm actually lifting in shorts. People comment that my hamstrings are massive. I do squats and deadlifts. I do deadlift variations, though. I do occasionally do Romanian deadlifts or stiff leg deadlifts, but I wouldn't say I do them every week. But that is generally what I do for my hamstrings. They're not a weakness for me by any means. However, the caveat there being, if I had access to a glute ham raise, I would use it regularly, at least once a week. Just because in my case, I would look at it and say, look, I could probably get a little more hamstring development out of it. It'll work the hamstring from a different angle. Might even reduce my chances of injuring a hamstring at some point, because the muscle will be stronger through the joint angle specificity and range of motion where I'm most likely to injure a hamstring doing a deadlift. So, which is not really that high of a chance, but it does happen. So in my case, I would probably do the glute ham raise if I had access to a proper one, which I don't. So you've got to look at it at a case-by-case basis. How well are your hamstrings developing doing that? And if they aren't developing quickly enough in proportion to the rest of your lower body, you might want to consider something else for them. Doesn't mean you need to go do something like a leg curl, but if you feel you're not getting enough meat on them, the first thing I would consider is a Romanian deadlift. But if you have access to a glute ham raise, that is the king of all hamstring exercises. In fact, if you have access to a glute ham raise, there would be no need for even consider a leg curl for isolation purposes. The glute ham raise is a vastly superior exercise for the hamstrings in all ways. So if you have access to one, that's what you would go to. If you don't, I would consider the Romanian deadlift personally. So you've just got to assess where you're at in terms of muscle balance and strength. All right, next question. Hi Jason, I got a virus and I was advised by my doctor to have 2 weeks off of complete rest, no work, no workouts. Better listen to your doctor. My question is, when I will go back to the gym, if I feel good, can I lift the same weight and do the same kind of volume I usually do? Or would it be better to decrease both a little bit since I did not have any physical activities for 2 weeks? I would like your opinion. Thank you. You don't need my opinion. There's no option. There's no way in hell you're going to be as strong as you were. If you were benching 100 kilos, that's 220 pounds for 5 reps, and you had to take 2 weeks off sick due to a virus, I promise you, if you get under 220 pounds on the bench press, you're going to get stapled. That bar is going to hit you in the chest and stick. You're not going to press it back off your chest. So you shouldn't even need to ask me, because I can tell you, you're not going to be physically capable of doing what you are doing no matter what. You will have detrained greatly during that 2 weeks. Your body will have pulled resources to heal you from that virus, to keep you alive and healthy, that will cause further detraining of your muscle tissue. It's going to take you several weeks to get back to where you were. It's probably going to take you somewhere between 2 and 5 weeks to regain the strength and performance that you lost of that 2 weeks sick. But you better take the 2 weeks off either way, because if you don't, your recovery is going to be even slower. So no, your question, you're going to find out when you get there that you didn't need to ask the question. It's going to be very obvious to you that you will have lost strength. All right, next question, and last question of the week. What do you think about Martin Berkham's strategy of using amino acid or proteins before a workout? Which you guys don't know. If you don't know, Martin Berkham popularized intermittent fasting. He's the one who turned me onto it. I use it. And he created the whole lean gain system. I don't know. I guess it really depends on what you're doing. I could argue about it a lot of ways. I am probably going to start doing this myself in a few months, purely because I am now a competitive athlete again. Haven't been in a decade, but I am competitive again now. I've got to improve. I've got to get better. And something like that, doing it might make a 0.5% difference to my overall performance in the long run. When you're competitive and you're competing, a 0.5% edge matters. When you're a recreational lifter, Worrying about 0.5% change in performance when everything else isn't perfect. If your diet is not perfect and your training is not perfect, worrying about little nuances like 0.5% difference due to shifts in catabolism from taking some leucine or BCAAs during your fasted training is the least of your concerns. It's a waste of your time because there's other things that you could perfect to get a lot more than these minor things. They're really not worth worrying about at that point. But when you know that your stuff is on point and you're serious competitive, 0.5% difference could make a difference. The recreational people, I wouldn't worry about this stuff. But for training fasted, whether it's fasted, particularly fasted cardio, yeah, there may be something to this. And I would definitely consider doing it if you're competitive. If you're just recreational, this type of stuff is tit for tat. All right, guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh, Mount Bicepius.